Saturday. It's kind of hard, sorry, on Thursday. It's kind of funny, as I was watching you guys get the diplomas and everybody taking the pictures, I will say this, I usually get awards night coming up on Tuesday after Memorial Day. Whatever date it is, as I've been wrong on every sheet. I guess the 31st, I usually get a little bit emotional. This is one of the best group of seniors that I've ever had. And I started getting emotional a little early, so it's certainly kind of fun seeing you guys do this tonight. So that's where they were on Saturday. They're doing a nice job representing us. So. And I should say that a couple of them are finalists right now for the State Sportsmanship Awards, so we'll see what happens with that as well.
Gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Education, thank you for your commitment both in the classroom and on the courts. We wish you all the best in the fall. You represent yourselves, your parents, your school, and this community. We're extremely proud of you, and we wish you nothing but the best in your futures. Please come back and visit. Love to see our alumni come back and be a part of what goes on here at Warren, which we're all extremely proud of. So congratulations again, and best of luck to you in your futures. So this is the business end of our meeting. If you'd like to stay, you are welcome to stay. Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, that's way better.
Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Parents didn't have to stand in line. Thank you very much. Congrats.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We're all good. Okay, we'll move right along then. You got it right, that's all matters. The next is the reception of visitors. Mr. Parrott, do we have anybody that has signed in to speak to us tonight?
No one signed in.
No, this is the portion of the meeting where anybody from the community can come forth and speak to the board. And nobody signed in. So we will move to committee reports. And the first committee report, Dr. Insurance Committee.
Yes, the Insurance Committee met on May 11th. This is going to be the first of our monthly meetings starting in September. We will have an agenda of recurring information that we will review at each meeting, along with scheduling outside parties to help us look at our health insurance. We discussed the monthly information that would be available to the Insurance Committee, invited the union to attend our next cooperative meeting. We'll be meeting again on September 21st, and over the course of the next 6 months, we'll be discussing various insurance options, including fully insured products, standalone, self-funded programs, cooperatives, plan changes, health savings options, and we'll be interviewing brokers for more information and to get a better understanding. We discussed our claims experience and that we do only have a 15-day reserve for claims, which may not give us much relief in increases in premiums for the next year. So we just wanted to make the committee aware of that so there were no surprises. So that's the Insurance Committee.
Very good. Finance Committee.
The Finance Committee met last May 10th before the last board meeting at 5:30. This is the first of a series of 2 major budget meetings. The first budget meeting, we talked about enrollment, staffing, which Dr. Alden does provide to the board on a monthly basis. Gave an update of the state of Illinois in terms of their budget for fiscal year 17. I presented a 5-year forecast of revenues and expenditures for salaries and benefits. And the next meeting would be scheduled now for June 14th, which will wrap up the budget conceptually overall and make changes in August and then do a presentation to the board on the overall budget. So lastly, we discussed the status of the architectural firm selection, which the board gave us some direction on additional questions to ask. So we'll be moving forward with that. That's it from this committee.
Did you happen to see the proposal that came out? Did you see that?
The finance,
Finance?
it's it goes back to what's the year? It's not Renar's plan.
Vision 2020?
Yes, it's the same vision, fundamental, I'm trying to think of the word.
Foundation level?
It's what they're calling the different level special ed and the.
Oh, yes.
all the
It's
different
a
categories.
weighted general state aid system.
Right. So that's, right now, I've had that was down today, meeting with the state superintendent, and that's what they're thinking is gonna happen. That was supposed to go into effect. I can't think of the name of it right now, but the Vision 2020 model was supposed to go into effect in the summer of 17. That's what, they didn't expect it to go into effect until then. So the word on the street now is that for this year, they're gonna figure out either to take part of part of Andy Menard's plan, or take part of just add another 500 million and give it to the poorest districts. In other words, try to make do for a year under one of those current plans, but next year start the
Funding overall.
Yes, I'll come up with a name of it later on. But that's, yeah, so that's what.
Right, I read that they came out with the superintendent's group this morning. Okay. It'll be interesting. How many more days do they have, Mr. Markfield?
Another week.
Six.
A week.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah. So 3 more days.
Let's see what happens there.
31st, they have to make a decision.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
Sure.
Moving along to the superintendent's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mother. We have a couple of things. First off, I submitted to the board all the regular monthly reports. And I also wanted to update the board on a few other things. We had 2 FOIAs since our last meeting. One was from the News Sun, and it was in regards to the settlement agreement on our May 10th agenda that actually we got pulled as an agenda item anyway. And the other one was Felicity Educational Services regarding our transportation services that we use. So those were the 2 FOIAs that we had come in since our last meeting. And treasurer report, Phil?
I've included in for you the April treasurer's report. We are trending exactly where we should be. So I've looked and forecasted out through the end of the year, and our plan is to come in as close to a balanced budget as possible for operations. So let me see if there was anything else. Just that our next finance meeting would be June 14th at 5:30. Our preliminary audit work will begin on June 13th through June 16th. And we have adjusted, like Mr. Anderson asked, for the IMRF payment and revenue, so you've got more comparability there. But we're coming very close to last year's numbers overall.
Thanks, Carol. A few other odds and ends. The III conference this year is on November 18th through 20th. And we've started getting notices on that, board members, that we're going to commit relatively soon. And so I think we have a registration opens on June 13th. And so Jean will probably be nudging all the board members a little bit for commitments on what you think your plans are for November 18th through 20th. So we have to start thinking about that. We also have, I've handed around sheet to all of you that I want to take a look at a few things on this sheet. If you remember on our strategic plan, one of the deadlines we had was actually for the month of May, that we were gonna come forth with a tentative plan on our calendar of events for the centennial. And so we're 99% of the way there. This morning we were 98, now we're 99, and we'll soon be 100. But it is thanks to the work of our leadership team and a number of our student council and our activity program that kind of been coming forth with some ideas. So there's some things I do want to bring your attention to on this page that I've written to the board about, or we've talked about a little bit, but they might draw a little attention. First off, the Gurney Days, what we did is we tried to bubble some things out to create groups of events, if you will. And so Gurney Days is one kind of community-wide event that we'll have a presence at, for sure, about our centennial. And then we also have written to the board about that great opportunity we have on September the 17th, that they are creating a special event for just Warren Township High School in our centennial, and creating it as a private event, if you will, so there's limited tickets. We've had a couple meetings about that, we're really excited, but that's a huge community benefit, and hopefully we have weather like we did today, and that would be awesome. So it's really, this Six Flags has been great in working with us, and they pretty much opened the canvas for us in terms of ideas. On April, I'm still on the left-hand side, to April the 29th, we'll come back to this, but that's also a date that we're now pretty firm on. That's really important, I think, from our perspective, that you guys know that, because we'd be having an event here that we would hope that a lot of the elected officials and leaders in the community and past leaders in the community and dignitaries would come on that night. So there's the presentation, if you will, a formal presentation, as well as some fun will occur on that night of April the 29th of 17. And then we, on the right-hand side of this sheet, if you will, we have back to school are some things more for our kids, if you will, or families. And so back to school assemblies are in there, and homecoming is about the week of September 26th through the 1st of October. We've got warm winter weeks, which is more around winter sports kinds of activities. Our Devil's Spring Stretch for our spring sports. We just got to fill in a few dates there, but that's what we've got in there. And then we kind of combined the celebration of the arts there in the second half of April as its own little celebration, and included the Live Arts Festival in there the day before the Centennial Gala. So we're really excited about trying to also bring some more promotion to our arts, if you will, beyond this year as well. So that was part of our thinking, that we wanted to make some strategic improvements to some programs beyond even this year. But I also wanted to talk to the board, some other tentative dates that we have. I want to bring your attention to August the 20th. So this will, I want to tell the board of this, although it's fairly still not necessarily confidential, but I don't know if we have a commitment at this point other than a verbal commitment that we think there's a possibility that on the night of August 20th, the Bears might be wanting to practice over at a point. We've kept it kind of on the down low, right? Because it's not, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But by the same token, I would feel remiss if you guys heard it from somebody else rather than us, right? So we're still planning that out. We on our calendar just put it in as a centennial event or community event. But that's what we're right now tentatively trying to work through with the Bears to see if, you know, there would be open, limited tickets, but open to the public, right? So, and no cost on the tickets. But they're obviously our booster club and other people could probably be making some money while they have it. So that's still kind of just for us, right? Because I don't think we have an agreement on it, other than I did want to let you know what we were trying to do on that date. Also, we have August the 26th. August the, what do we move to? 31st. Isn't on your calendar. We took it off, but down, we do have a, if you look at number 100, very good. Down at the very bottom are some items that we want to have 100 events. And so ones at the bottom are kind of either events without a date or events that may not actually go on this calendar. But one of them is, it's probably our turn to host the intergovernmental picnic. This year, I think it's been a number of years, I've been reminded by that from the other community leaders. They suddenly keep sending me the calendar and the schedule over the last 10 years. So And so if we can, we're trying to find a way with either our staff here or our staff at Old Plain. We were originally thinking about the week after that. No, the week before that, the 24th. But one local boards have their meetings on that's a Wednesday night, and so they meet the fourth Wednesday. And so we're trying to find a date in late August, early September for that intergovernmental picnic. What we would like to do is obviously have people come in and view some of our centennial stuff, right? So as our welcome to them, we give them a preview, if you will, an early look at some of our centennial stuff that we're putting together. So I'll let you know when we confirm that, but down at the bottom, we're tentatively trying to now think about August the 31st, which is the day before the open house at Oak Plain. Right. You guys are the 25th of August here. So that's another important date that we'll firm up as going forward. What else am I forgetting? Gene, really anything, what else am I wanting to pull off this page and make sure board knows? Is there anything you guys are seeing? Which we've got a new item planned for the 27th of August. Kim's been working hard with our student council and to try to have some kind of event for our freshmen, fun event, and when they come in this year over at Oak Plain. So that's a new addition that we're excited about. And other than that, these will move a little bit too over time. But our goal is to do this. Our goal is to create smaller versions of this. Once we finish this, we are going to have some printed copies made because the visual is nice for people to see and it brings your attention. But by the same token, we're also going to try to have some smaller handouts to go with people that will maybe just bring their attention to some of our bold activities. Right, not all 100 events, but give them on the information where they can go to get all 100 events, where they can go to make a donation, where they can go to put in their name for the Alumni Association kind of idea. So we've been making steady progress on this project thanks to our management team for going out and doing something.
Looks like a lot of work.
It's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun stuff. So.
Yeah.
Carol, anything on the fundraising or resource end of it, or how's that? Just want to.
We're going to kick off in high gear our fundraising. Our committee was meeting again on June 6th, and we've already raised probably about $15,000. So with just reaching out to a few people, so we're really going to reach out to the greater Gurney community, and so we're very excited about what programs we've come up with, and we really want to do as much as we can to support all the activities, wonderful activities that will be going on for the year. So, yeah, our team is very excited, so we can't wait to really put it into high gear. So we've got several vendors now that we can make their banners up and use as samples, so it's going to be good.
Thanks, Carol. And I think that is all I have for superintendent's report.
Very good. Moving on to new business. Agenda item A, approval of the final fiscal year 16 school calendar.
I move to approve the FY16, 2015 to 16 final school year calendar.
Second. Motion by Campbell, second by Mundell. Am I going too fast for that computer?
Just waiting for direction. Roll call.
Roll call, please. I thought you were waiting on that.
Mr. Walls?
Yes. Waiting for
Mrs.
direction.
Conway?
That's how it works,
Yes.
right?
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
And Mr. Munda?
Yes.
We have 5 yes. Motion carries.
Very good. Willie, approval of the instructional Services 2016-17 budget, including textbooks.
I move to approve the new textbook purchases for the 2000.
Lily's gonna give a
Don't go right ahead.
Lily's gonna give us a report.
Could you, we can make a motion and then do discussion.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead, Catherine, finish.
So I move to approve the new textbook purchases for the 2016-17 school year.
Second. No, not yet.
Willie, would you like to say something?
I was just gonna say 8 of our courses have requested new textbooks. 4 of them are gonna be online, and then some additional hard copies for those students who need them. And then 4 of the courses are gonna have classroom sets. We're about in the same range of our textbooks and the rest of my budget. So is there anything else I could answer for you?
No.
Nothing else? Then we have a motion by Campbell and a second by Biondi. Roll call.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
And Mr. Munda?
Yes.
I have 5 yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, Willie. Approval of our paperback book bid for the 2016-17.
On May 12th, we went out to bid, or received bids for paperback books, which are used in the English classes. I've had interesting discussions with a couple of the English teachers, because I'm like, why don't you just use a Kindle? But, no, it's the imitation part that's very important to the students. So not being an English person, I didn't know that. But, the bids came in very close to last year's, and, we bid, we used different vendors for certain textbooks. Follett, we did eliminate from the bid process because of some experiences that we've had with not getting books on time and not getting them all books. So, we're asking you to award the bid for the purchase of paperback books for the 16-17 school year to the vendors as listed.
I move to approve the paperback book bid to various vendors as presented for the 2016-17 school year.
Second.
Motion by Biondi, second by Walls. Roll call.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
And Mr. Munda?
Yes.
I have 5 yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, we have the approval of the property casualty, student accident, foreign liability, and workers' compensation insurance renewals for 2016-17.
We are part of a very large cooperative, over 170 districts. We have a very large buying power and keep a very large amount of insurance. Just so the board knows, we have plenty of insurance for the new concussion rules and all of that. There is a typographical error in here that I'm going to point out. We had a decrease in our premium and casualty of about 0.47%, but our workman's comp did increase 11.7%. And I will make this correction and repost it in board docs. The reason for that is because of a little worse experience. Our modification factor went from 0.77 to 0.85. We're still under 1, which is a good modified premium. Another thing to bring up is that our deductible for school board legal went down from $25,000 to $15,000. But our coverage limits went up. It was a very good insurance market overall. So we'll ask the board to approve those renewals, and I've included at the kitchen sink when it comes to documentation for this. Any questions I can answer?
If there are no questions, a motion, please.
I move to approve the property casualty, student accident, foreign liability, and workers' compensation insurance renewals for 2016-2017.
Second. Jim?
No. Please.
Motion by Conway, second by Walls. Roll call.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
And Mr. Munda?
Yes.
I have 5 yes. Motion carries.
Next up, we have the approval of disciplinary recommendations for student 2016-14. I'll move to approve the resolution for disciplinary recommendations for student 2016-14.
Second.
Motion by Mundo, second by Campbell. Roll call.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
No, I do not believe that we should expel students. And under SB 100, which goes into effect in September of this school year, of 2016, I believe that we are going to have to change some of the ways that we deal with students who we won't be able to use a cookbook type of thing. And I think that because of what's happening in Waukegan with their disciplinary problems, I think we need to look at it a little more closely. Thank you.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
And Mr. Munda?
I'm a firm believer in discipline and structure. I'm quite aware of Senate Bill 100 coming. But as board members, we also have the responsibility for the rest of the student body that are impacted by poor choices and behaviors, substances and weapons that are brought into our buildings. Our primary focus is on education, which goes beyond the classroom. That includes extracurricular activities, other events that go on, and we have that responsibility to make sure that we are providing the safest educational environment for all of our students. So that will be a yes.
You're voting for the expulsion, Mr. Munda?
Yes, I am.
Because it doesn't involve, he can vote on it because it isn't going to impact.
There's
Well,
nothing to do with me
He has
and what I
nothing
do
to
for a
do with
living,
it.
so my
Right.
answer is
Yeah. Right.
yes.
Okay, I have 4 yes, and I have 1 no. Motion carries.
The next up is F, the approval of the settlement agreement for Peg Marar. This is an item for approval of the resignation agreement with Peg Marar, the former director of special education. The agreement includes severance in the amount of $110,000, a full release of claims and covenant not to sue, a neutral letter of reference, a withdrawal of FOIA request that Peg had submitted to the district. Can I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the resignation agreement with Peg Marar as presented.
Second.
Motion by Conway, second by Walls. Roll call.
Mike, can I just make a statement?
You certainly can.
This one is difficult for me because I see it as multifaceted for me to decide on. I'm in agreement with the agreement. It's just who pays for that agreement. And it's my belief, I shared it before, I'll share it again, I believe that we were not, it's my belief, that we were not fully advised of exposure by our law firm, and they are to provide legal counsel for the board, their school board attorney, and I feel that they hold some of the responsibility to pay this, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to vote on this because I feel in that piece the amount on this agreement, the settlement amount should not fall exclusively on the taxpayers and should fall in part on our law firm, or maybe fully. So I just wanted to share that again.
Just a reminder that the law firm does not make decisions for this district. The law firm provides advice, and that is what they do. We make the decisions collectively as a board. Whether we take their advice and go in one direction or another is up to us.
But I feel like they didn't give us proper advice. They never explained the liability, and it was my opinion that they did not give us the advice that they are required to give.
Well, I can't justify what they should or should not give us, but if there were, I would say for myself, if I was not happy with the advice and I was in need of more information, then I would need to step forward and request that there be a little bit more information provided if I
I
wasn't.
think I asked a number of times on this issue for, and I brought up that I
So what
felt like that I asked and they didn't provide it.
And I agree with Ms. Campbell.
But this isn't what's on the table
I-
right now,
Right.
so.
So,
But I am in agreement with the terms of,
right, we understand it's with the law firm. Although-
it's just
Well,
who's,
it's who will pay
who's
for it.
responsible for the payment.
Anything else?
No.
No, we have a motion,
Motion by Conway, second by Walls.
roll call.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
Abstain.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
And Mr. Mundo?
Yes.
I have 4 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is the approval of hiring recommendations. Per Exhibit A, we do have a B that was handed out.
I move to approve Exhibit B hiring recommendations numbers 277 to 291 as posted, and
285.
And then she's gonna.
I have to read this, and 282, Claire Birmingham resignation, 283, Trey Caldwell, outside employee posting requirement, Dan Connolly resignation, Kathy,
Got it?
284, Dan Connolly resignation, 285, Kathy Dexheimer resignation, 286, Jesse Gaffney, outside employee posting requirement, 287, Adam German, outside employee posting requirement, 288, Brian Hoppy, outside employee posting requirement, 289, Victoria McBride, outside employee posting requirement, 290, Kyle McClavey, outside posting requirement, 291, Chris Pantelis, outside posting requirement, 292, Paul Carmstead, new hire, 293, Beth Kozlicki, new hire, 294, Stacy Leach, new hire, and 295, Ivana Herrick, new hire.
Second.
Motion by Campbell, second by Conway. Roll call.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Mundo?
Yes.
I have 5 yes, motion carries.
Very good. Next, we have the approval of the payment of bills for 5/24/16.
I move to approve the payment of the bills for 5/24/16 in the amount of $4,642,186.30.
Second. Motion by Biondi, second by Munda. Roll call.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
Oh, yes.
And Mr. Mundo?
Yes.
I have 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving right along, agenda item I, we have the approval of the regular meeting minutes and the executive session minutes for May 10th, 2016.
I move to approve the regular meeting minutes and executive session minutes of May 10th, 2016.
Second.
Very good. Motion by Conway, second by Walls. Roll call.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Mrs. Conway?
Yes.
And Mr. Mundo?
Yes.
I have 5 yes, motion carries.
And our last and final agenda item is the approval of the special meeting minutes of May 16th, 2016. I'll move to approve the special meeting minutes of May 16th, 2016.
Second.
Motion by Munda, second by Walls. Roll call.
Mrs. Conway?
I abstain, I was not at the meeting.
Mrs. Biondi?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
No, it's missing the discussion about FGM architects.
Mr. Walls?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And Mr. Munda.
Yes.
I have 3 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Anything else? Then I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
It's a motion by Munda, it's a second by Conway, roll call.
Mrs. Bianchi.
Yes.
Ms. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
Mrs. Conway.
Yes.
And Mr. Munda.
Yes.
5 yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you,
If
Mike.
I don't see you, have a nice holiday weekend
Carol.
coming up. Enjoy it, be safe, if you're traveling.